Hey, is anybody on here? Ah, cool. Thanks. So, I wasn't expecting to stream today. So this is the first time I'm streaming for CSE, like the second time I'm streaming ever. Anyway, what I'm working on is a particle editor bug that Cross found, and I'll show you the bug. Usually, this is how I get stuff like this. Um, what's happening is when Cross tries to make a particle effect, there's hitching going on, and it's like taking a long time for him to see his changes. So we're gonna figure out what's going on with that. All right. So let's find out what's wrong. We're gonna start working like Cross to find out what is broken. A couple of days ago, I put in this thing that kind of tells me some extra information about what's going on behind the scenes in the editor, um, and it will give me some feedback down here in the console. So I'm going to go ahead and open up something that looks cool. I think we're working on this thing. I'm going to save its name when we get in there. So yeah, looks like copying my particles took like no time, and also getting all the particles from the database took like no time. Expanding it took a little, but then you saw how it kind of like hesitated when we were going in before it actually showed up. So I think that that's something we need to take care of. Shouldn't have any hesitation. It should come in asynchronously and kind of fix itself after it's done doing its thing, so it will appear less hitchy. Um, cool. So, anyway, let's see what happens if we change something. So we're going to change the sprite number to like 0, and that should trigger another build. See how the editor's kind of hitching when it does that, so something is not letting the editor thread continue to do its thing while that's going. So I don't know how that happened, but it used to not do that, but we're going to fix that. Yeah, this is my first. I don't know how to change any of the titles on the stream or anything, so it's just kind of like, did you have OBS installed? I do. Here's how you set it up. Now click start stream when you're ready to go. So, like, I don't know anything about the streaming stuff, but hey, it's fun. All right. Anyway, let's find out why this is hitching. So here's my build particles function right here, and let me see here. Yeah, no, nobody hooked me up, man. All right, so what are we doing when we call this function? This function is what we're hitching on. This is I take all the particles in the game and have to build like this special particle buffer resource thing that makes the client run really peppy. Well, if I want to see it in the editor, I have to build it ahead of time and then throw it in there and have the client kind of do its magic behind the scenes. So when someone edits something in the editor, I have to end up calling this building cache source function, and I have some information about what's going on to let people know which change number they did, because I can cancel a build in the middle so that Cross can, in theory, work pretty rapidly. So, anyways, for some reason it's hitching on the build. So this is okay. So this right here, I'm building my particle buffer and building my particle resource at the same time, which is good. And I was troubleshooting this before. That's what all these messages are about. So the build does take a little time. It take a little time. But if we look at where this is being called, maybe we can do a little quick optimization. Alright, so this function here is when the particle effect workspace is generated, or when someone changes what particle effect they're working on, this function gets called. And what it's doing is changing what we're looking at inside of the editor. So I cancel whatever's building. I replace the, that's something that Matt added. This is replacing how the editor, the client, this is the magic that swaps out the resource that the client is looking at, which the client is also in the editor. So when I see in the editor, this is how I get changes to see in the editor immediately before going through all of the build pipeline and patching it down. But what I see here is that I'm going through and changing my source, and I'm waiting to refresh the particle, and then I'm waiting while I build the source. So one thing I could try to do right now actually is to just fire this off, and it doesn't return anything, so I could just... What's up?
All good?
I think so. I don't know how to change the title, but
oh, yeah, that's on Restream.
But
And then you just fill it in there and
oh, okay.
both places. I'll do it for you though.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Just for future reference.
Call it like particle editor hacking with Bull, because yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually like kick this thing off, right? And when I say run this task, I can wrap it in that, right? And then I'm gonna send it to this extension method, which is just basically like, please go off into the ether and return immediately, because I don't want to wait for you. I will just wait for you to catch up to me later. So that's what that's gonna do. So we're building it somewhere else too, so we're gonna do that here. So this is the every time Cross changes something in the little editor that lets you change individual values. Like I'm just gonna do the same thing, right? I'm gonna cancel it and then kick off a new task. And I'm not going to wait for it. If you're curious about this function, what this does is I'm saying I'm making a task, right? And saying is immediately start doing this thing and then pass it off to whatever, right? And the return value is going to be a task. So this little extension function is just a way to say, I'm going to take this task that you're sending it back, I'm going to wait for it forever, but I'm returning immediately. It just goes off into the ether. So we're going to stop. Oh, and I don't need this anymore either, because I'm no longer an async function. Sorry, I'm very boring. This is just to add bug fixing. But this is like what I do all the time, especially on the particle editor. A lot of what I do is spent waiting for things to build as well. Should really learn to turn off ReSharper, turn it back on again when I'm switching branches. And it also takes forever. Hey, JB. So JB's on the stream, so he's going to tell me how I'm doing it wrong, which is alright, because as long as I get it done, I don't care if I'm doing it wrong, right? If I'm doing it wrong, I want to know that I'm doing it wrong. Yep. This is for the particle effect system. So basically, any particles in the game, this is how cross-edit is it through this editor that I'm hacking on right now. All right. I just changed the title of the stream, I think. Well, I'm probably going to break the particle editor. That's what's going on right now. All right, so here's my new editor that hopefully is a little bit peppier. So clicking on a particle effect. This always takes a while. Usually after it's open, it should be nice and fast, though. All right, so let's see here what we're working on. Some sort of disks test. Well, that was fast. See, I'm not waiting on the waiting on anything anymore. Let me see here. We're gonna change something and see what happens. Oh, I see something going on in the background. I'm eating an exception. My task is throwing an exception because can't access the object because a different thread owns it. Because I'm doing something with something that the UI thread owns. So let's go find it. Alright, let's go in here. Well, this is my source property. Source is what is owned by the UI element. So if I change something or try to access it, if I try to access it, I'm good. If I try to change it, it's going to complain. Alright, so I need to get it before I get to the particle tree and then send it to this function. So I need to not access that property. So we're going to do a particle tree. That's the original. We're going to change the... Sorry. I called them a tree, but it's really a particle effect. And then, instead of monkeying with the source, we're going to... copy it in here. Try that.
You want the whole folder, or you want the single thing? Because you want to click on one of the actual single things. Okay. Cool. But you can also we do send just a stat of this name.
I'm not breaking the build yet. We'll do that next.
That stat is using Rob's.
Alright. So... So I'm going to just send it, instead of sending it the property that it has the thing I'm working on, I'm going to try to send it into this function in a way that will not annoy the annoy Windows. This is the.
So you can click on that one real quick, and then you can edit.
I think stats D may be eating the information I'm looking for.
It could also be doing that because it only updates once every 10 seconds. Like
All right.
batch updates.
So what I'm trying to do is make sure that I'm not calling the something that the UI owns here. I see a couple of potential optimizations too, but I'll worry about those when I have to worry about those. I'm looking for source, making sure you're not in here.
Histogram of the max value in each bucket. I want a histogram of all the values in each bucket.
What's the
Max value will just be,
So on the side there's like little purple highlights. That's a way to just like quickly look through your function and make sure you're not calling a specific thing. All right. And now that I've changed the function prototype, I need to go in here and actually pass the thing. So we're going to, in here I'm getting the source, and sending it down to myself, but I have an instance, so we're just going to use this thing instead. See, the function passes in the thing that you're about to change it to, and this function is goes down and like changes the stuff in the gut, and then comes back up here, and then I'm handling everything that's happening in the editor as it goes through, and then in here I'm just going to pass this thing that is not the property in there. And down here I'm also doing the same thing, so I need a thing that is not the property. You are not the source anymore, I hope. Hopefully that will not throw any exceptions about complaining about UI threads anymore. So let's test it. Wow, it's a loud Mark.
for fuck's sake. You have a lower body mark? Well, we only wanted it for that resolution though. I want it for the body. Oh, thank you. That's some HR violation. We'll talk later. Did fighting off the sickness increase the resolution of your camera? It did actually. Okay. Like
7 heard Mark. Mark Hernandez's voice in like a week and a half because his mic has been like broken this whole time.
So I am trying to get some other data out of Graphite/Grafana.
Okay.
In particular, I am looking for just
All right,
histogram
it's
of
back.
all frame times.
Let's see if we have
Certain criteria is not a
can
good
actually
one.
use the particle editor now.
What seems to be happening is calling statsd.timer puts all of the frame times.
Yeah, it's Mark Hernandez. He's visiting us on the through the TV.
Actually hits Graphite is
All right,
the max and the median
where's that test thing I was working on?
of that, but not all
We're
of
gonna
them.
use the same thing. This blend tests. You know.
That is correct.
Let's not get a bunch of spam about.
Pass straight through to Graphite.
All right, well, cool. That's working now.
Frame times.
Right. Graphite's not really.
All right, it was peppy. See now. Well, let's see here. Now let's change a value and see what happens.
It's built for that, not for the kind of like awesome drill down.
All right, yay! I didn't crash.
Time of this machine.
Or at least I didn't silently crash. and it isn't hitching, but so it's no longer hitching, right? Which is the noticeable thing. It's still taking the same amount of time to build. Uh,
Six values of mean, median, max of this series.
Stats D. So we send.
it's not taking the same amount of time to build. It was taking like a 15 seconds before. Now it's taking 5 seconds to build. That's interesting.
And then it does all the math and then sends two
Yeah, down at the bottom there, it's like the whole operation took 4 seconds instead of the 10 to 15 that it was taking before I started. So I magically fixed something, and I don't even know why. Probably because I was throwing exceptions in the background or trying to access the property through a bunch of other properties.
I'm asking if anyone knows how to do it.
No. I just have never done it. I've always written two.
That's pretty cool. So that was a easy fix. Now let's see if we can really break it. I'm gonna try to change it like to a bunch of different things as fast as possible. Looks like my cancellation is working.
You know, I've just got like,
So I think I have solved this problem,
you know, here's a string with some dots in it.
at least in a way
Associated with that, and I just want all of them to hit graphite.
that will keep Cross from getting annoyed with me. Just by changing the way I'm kicking off the functions.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that.
Anyway, so this is the part where I'm going to ask Cross to come over here, and we're going to evaluate this. So I'm going to close this and run an internal build, which is supposed to be even peppier.
Big stuff like server tick, time through the entire server tick should be safe.
And I'm gonna get Cross to come over here so we can look at it together. Because an important part of fixing bugs is to make sure that the person that saw the bug is like, okay, now it's fixed.
So also, graphite isn't the best at like.
I'm looking them up over here on our inter-office chat.
Best at time series data. It just happens to be. It was easy to get us up and running, and got us a lot of good metrics. But there are.
Telling him to come on over here and let me know if the bug is fixed.
The longer we talk about this, the closer I am to writing out a CSV file.
He's over there.
Into Excel.
Right. I mean,
Hey, Mike.
quite frankly, that's probably actually.
Mike.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks.
Sorry.
Mike. Come on over.
Hi. I'm so happy to be back.
Hello. So we're on stream.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think I fixed the bug. Yeah. Like we're supposed to stream for 2 hours, but like yeah. Really, I'm cheating. I kind of thought that this was the problem when I started looking at it this morning. But let's see here. Yeah. All right. Where's my editor at? So remember it was taking like 10-15 seconds to build on my machine when we first saw this thing. It was taking like 30 seconds to build on yours. So I made it so it didn't hitch, and for some reason when I made it not hitch anymore, it reduced it by like it takes us like about a third of the amount of time to build as it did before, which would be nice. Yeah. Anyway,
You said you thought this was
So-
related to the other problem with the data inside as well. I remember you said you thought.
yeah, there's actually other things that I can do to make it even faster, and I probably will spend the rest of the stream trying to make it faster. But what was I gonna say? Well, oh yeah, this is the part where it's gonna break because you walked over here, and we're gonna look at it together. Because that always happens too. All right. So actually, because we're on stream, it's probably not going to break. It's going to wait until I'm not. Oh no, because we're on stream, it'll be embarrassing, and then it will break. So here we go. Let's look at a thing.
Let's look at a thing.
Alright, give me a thing that you want to look at. I was testing it on some test particle and it was working, so that's when I called you over here. Something that loops probably would be better, but
It does not anything, no matter how complicated or simple it is. So just do this one right there.
that guy. Alright.
Now fizzle.
Well, that was wow,
It only plays
flicker.
for 3 seconds.
It does if I do this. Alright. So,
So if you want to change a value in it,
yeah.
so just make the glow ball.
Some other glow ball, whatever. Alright.
Make it another.
So now it does change. No, it still takes time. Oh wait, I forgot to turn this thing on that tells me what's going on with the metrics. Will tell me how long it takes to build stuff. Where's the... I changed it to 3, so it's changed, right? Yeah, it's changed. So yeah, I changed it with 2, and it's still building. Well, that took a little bit of time. That took 10 seconds, so there's something else going on. But my change did go through.
The obvious one, you can change the color, or like change that red from 0.55 to like 2.
To
Something
over.
2.
Yeah.
That'll be super
Alright.
red.
So it's still building, but it's not hitching anymore.
Yeah.
But now this one's taking a while to build.
If you hit the refresh button.
Yeah. But the thing is like when it's still not as fast as it was before. Because I remember it was like maybe 4 or 5 seconds, right? So it could still
Before it was
shave that time down.
a couple seconds. It was literally I would change the value and it was
But it
within 1 or 2 seconds.
it was hitching before, wasn't it, on you?
Hitching in what way?
Like when you would change
Oh,
something,
when
you
I
would have to
change
wait.
fields? No, it wasn't.
Oh, alright, cool.
Yeah, the hitch between field changes is new.
That is flickery as flickery as can get.
It's quite flickery.
It's annoying. That's what it is. There, that's better. Just hides the flicker. Alright, so that's weird. No, you're just saying that to make me feel good. You're just saying that. You tell all of the editor people that. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't know how much control I have over the particle time build speed, which is
Whatever caused it was fairly recent because
nobody's fessing up to it. So I don't know what happened. However, I will go muck about inside the particle build time because I don't like a 10-second build time either. But, alright, well at least I don't have to wait on that stuff anymore, so I'm going to close out of that and not save your particle. Okay, I'm going to keep working on it. Alright, so what I did was okay, so I'm going to save my spot. Right now I'm working in this branch right here. So I'm going to save this because it works, and we're going to say what we did. Don't wait for the... There you go. That's basically what that meant. Does that change? Alright, saved my spot. So if I mess this all up, at least I know where I can go back to where it still is working fine. Alright. So my particle build time was really slow. function where we're building. Our favorite. Building cache particle async. So, when we were doing our little studying of what was going on before, it would seem like this right here is a long time to wait, right? The getting all the particles from the database. There are a lot of particles, and but that didn't actually take that long. Also, expanding them all only took a couple seconds. So that is a place where we can do some improvement, but the place where we really need to improve is this right here when we're building our particle buffer resource. I can't remember what this exactly was for. This is but basically it's a table that will makes it really fast to display specific sprites in the client. This was a relatively recent change to increase the performance of the client. It used to do this client side before the game ran, but now we've offloaded that to actually the builder side, so it gets pre-made and then rolled in. But when that happened, then the relatively peppy particle editor that I had before became very unpeppy. Anyway, so we're sending it a list of particles, a feedback function so that I can find out when something's wrong, and a way to cancel a task that's in the middle of a run. Oh yeah. Alright, so we need to find out which one of these things is slow. So we're going to start taking some time. Kick off a new stopwatch right at the beginning. Right. And then right at the end, we're going to time it. We're going to figure out how long this took. So I wrote an output handler that lets me just send stuff to the editor, as long as I tell it to send it to the editor. And we're going to take the where are we? Particle buffer resource. Better? Sorry about that. Typing and thinking at the same time isn't my strong suit. Typey, so the typing gets left behind. Luckily, I have autocomplete. Write took. So that's how long the write takes. And when we're in here, we're going to find out how much this takes. I've been in here before. Alright. Oh yeah, we're going to send this to the wrong thing. I call it metrics. I'm probably going to change it someday. So I want to know how performant this function is too. There's a lot of database calls in here.
And every time a designer commits something, then it potentially breaks the program. So here's what we need to do
So we're gonna let ourselves know that we didn't get the image set.
That will happen, but it could happen today.
Which is probably not our problem.
Andrew, give me a minute.
Give me a minute.
Yeah, like 5 minutes. Let me finish this thought.
Oh, sure.
Oh, is this too loud? Sorry.
Deal with it.
Tim says deal with it. Here, a little bit farther away. How's that? Maybe better. All right. So I'm just going through here and looking for where I'm exiting out, right? Hitting there, otherwise I would see it. I don't care about cancels. So we're going to look for this accumulation of particle buffer data stuff. Alright, we're going to run it again and see what happens. Yep, it's all sprites. All cards, whatever you want to call it. Zubaya is turning up his sound, so I'm going to move the mic closer now. Oh, see, now there's a missed opportunity, is actually calling something in here a particle accelerator. I'll have to find a place to call something there. There's a lot of swearing in my code, too. And at my code. Yes, Strike. 2D sprites like Super Mario 64, but in 3 dimensions and a lot more of them. Alright, my editor's back. So I'm going to watch down here in my console because I've given myself lots of cool information about what the heck is going on. Wow, that took a long time. 7 seconds, 10 seconds total. Just for funsies. Let's do it again. So it took like 11 seconds this time. Like, why does it change at a different amount of time? That's so weird. Like, it's going through the same process with the same data. It should not take different amounts of time. Well, at least least now it's consistently pokey. Weird. Alright. Also, I'm not getting my messages about the build time. So let's find out why. Finally. Oh yeah, there it is. Never mind. Okay. So I'm looking through the times here where it's saying my particle buffer resource write. Is that where I'm losing my time? Yeah, 12 seconds. And then the accumulation took 7 seconds, so. And then back here the accumulation took 6. 7. Alright, so one part of the function is taking 7 seconds and the other part of the function is taking 4 or 5 seconds. So I wonder if I can do both of those at the same time. No, because I need to know how many there are. Alright, to write the buffer out, I need to have all of the buffer data. That's what this function is doing. So if I wanted to do this at the same time as the write, I really can't. I have to have all the information before I can write it, and the writing takes a long time. 5 seconds, probably because of this link call, so that's probably short. Probably a place I can tackle. Link sucks. So that's like a sort going on. We'll have to see if maybe we don't even need to do that. I don't know yet. That'll need to be written in order. Yeah. So what is this thing? So see how this is it's coming through here and then it's being sorted. This is the what's coming back from my get buffer for data channel function. So one thing I can do is look at what it ordered is sorted in before it gets here. Yeah, link's a jerk. It's very handy except for if you're trying to do something fast. It's like a set of extension functions that let you that do some common things that you do with collections. And what they also do is they make a lot of waste and can be very, very slow. Like, you can go in here and check it out. So every time I call that function, right, I'm taking a dictionary and sorting it by key. See, it goes through all this code. Anyway. I might not even need to order that yet. I don't know. I'll find out if I have to go there. So I'm burning a lot of time in here. But this just might be one of those things where, like, it has to go through the process of building in order to show it. What am I doing here? Oh, there's a lot going on in this function. Building a map of image set IDs. I hate this function. Don't like you at all. Do you take a long time? So there's something that never changes. I should probably just cache that. So if I do this, it's going to, when it first starts, it's going to pull the default image set. If that changes, Cross is going to have to restart the editor. Do I have an on-async function of this? I don't have a blocking version of this function, so I'm going to get one. And now it blocks. If I call it. Oh wait. I keep having to remind myself to look at the stream to see if people are asking me questions, because I kind of just get lost on what I'm doing. Oh yeah, I can do that. Watch. I don't want a match case. Nope. Nope. Look at everything I care about. So 15 just in this solution? No, 18 times. 18 lines anyway. Let's search everything. Probably just search for closing brace. Let's do that. Yep. That's a lot. There's a lot of curly braces apparently in programming. Oh yeah, this is an entertaining thing. That's our bad words filter. There you go. 44 lines. Anyway. Oh, duh. derp. Alright, so we don't need you. So it looks like we're mapping the this to a temporary dictionary. Image sets are the collections of image sprites that you build particles out of that Cross can just refer to by number. So we're making a big thing of that. And instead of calling it every time we come through the function, we're just caching it. I'm literally just going through this function and looking for things to speed up on. I'm sorry, it's probably kind of boring.
Okay, let's call it. We're calling today for work from home for the rest of the day. Okay.
It's
Oh,
Yeah.
we have
It's still pretty good.
tell me.
It started to stick, so
I luck out here, I guess.
the pavement, so time to get home before it gets worse.
I miss it.
I'd show you this snow, but we're getting snowed on pretty good, and now it's starting to stick to the pavement and stuff. So we're gonna get sent home.
Okay. Yeah, because it's supposed to. It was actually. We didn't expect it to stick so quickly, but now it's starting to scale.
You know what? I'll stream it again sometime. I don't know if you guys are entertained by this or not, but I find this super fun. I like optimizing stuff, especially old stuff. It's just you know, sometimes it's kind of annoying because you want to work on something that you've been waiting on for a long time, and you have to go back to fix something that is in dire need of help. But there you go.
This type of weather, we never really know what's going to happen. It's either going to be work from home.
Oh, it's been raining and snowing and icing pretty much all day, but I think it's just turning into snow now. So MJ wanted us to go home if it starts to look bad,
MJ's at
and
home, right?
and Andrew's pulling the plug. So
Want a toboggan up and down the driveway.
oh, do you guys like my whispery voice?
So tomorrow we'll.
True story. I used to be a DJ. Hey, no problem.
You can though on your next.
Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna stop streaming now. So have a good night, everybody. I'll see you again soon.